Hello and welcome to Gadget and Gear. This is a episode where I talk about some items that are sent out for review, some items you can use for everyday carry and other things like that. And I want to thank the sponsorship and the people for sending them out for review, the companies. And let's get into it and talk about the items we have here on the table. Starting from left to right, we have the Thinknode M1, which is a transceiver, the Sofirn St1, and we also have the Sofirn Sd08 diving light, and then we have the Maxpedition Keystone bag, which was sent out for review as well, and I had a little bit of modification on it. So we're going to talk about these items and go over them and some of the things that I like about them. So starting with the Thinknode M1, we do have a Meshtastic mesh core device. Now this is a item that works on the 900 megahertz bandwidth here in the US. Comes with a antenna here, 1200 milliamp hour battery, a GPS module inside, and this interfaces with your phone through an app called Meshtastic or Mesh Core. And what it does is it talks to this through Bluetooth, and then this transmits out either a GPS coordinate, telemetry, or a text message. No infrastructure necessarily that you have to pay for. It's all decentralized, which is quite nice. So that's a nice little additional feature of having something like this in your kit for everyday carry or for an emergency. A nice little device that acts as a transmitter and a receiver, so it can receive text and whatnot. The UI is pretty straightforward with the newer versions of Meshtastic. On here we have it right now with the alpha build, one of the later alpha builds, and you can scroll through the options with these buttons on the side here back and forth. So we're just going through the messages, we have last heard, we have hop signal reports, and then we also have bearings and where they are from you in relation to your own GPS signal. So the nice thing about this is that it also has a backlit LED backlit screen. This is an e-ink type of screen, so it will pause itself based on the settings in the software, and you can also turn this off and it will still retain the screen data. When you turn it back on, it will wipe the data out. So it's kind of like having those older Etch-a-Sketch type of screens, if you know what I mean. Those of you who are old enough to remember that, it kind of reminds me of that. So it's kind of cool to have that in a device like this, and it doesn't use that much power, which is quite nice. But obviously you can have this without a LED. It's got this nice rotary knob here which controls the on and off and the dimming and the brightening of the LEDs, which is quite nice as well. We do have a charging port in the bottom here, USB-C. We have a reset button here. We have a GPS on and off, so you can turn off the GPS if you don't want it on to save power. Again, these are the interface buttons, basically back and forward, and we have the antenna port here. So it's a nice little device. We have a little holder here which I've attached to this bag before when walking around. It's got this little ring clip that it comes with, and it's quite nice for a hanging device to have on you. Now the use for this would be like, say you're at a very highly populated event, you and your friends or your girlfriend or whatever could have this on you, and you can talk to each other even if the cell networks are down or highly saturated or whatever. You'll still be able to communicate via text with this, and you can track each other on the Meshtastic app or the Mesh Core app. So it allows a level of communication to go through without any subscriptions or anything like that. It has LED lights here to tell you when it's charging, when it's not charging, and when it's on. So it's quite a nice device that they send out for review. Again, I want to thank them for sending it out. This is the Elecrow Thinknode M1. There's other variants of this that use, say, a ESP32 module as opposed to the NRF module. This is the NRF version, which only has Bluetooth. Moving along, we have the Sofirn St1. This was sent out for review a while back and never got a chance to get to it until now. So we have this. It's in lockout mode. It's got a green ring out here, and it shows you the status of the light when you go to use the UI. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll turn it on and it comes on the last memorized mode, for me at least here. And the UI is pretty straightforward. You can lock it out with 4 clicks, or you can hold down once and it will show a moonlight mode. And then if you hold down again while it's on, it'll scroll through the 3 different regular modes, low, medium, and high. And if you double click, you'll get turbo mode, and it gets pretty bright and pretty hot. So these LEDs are very effective. We have small floody ones, and we have a main one here with the TIR optic inside to throw the beam. Now the beam is a diffused hotspot, which is quite nice. So you see a lot of stuff up front and close, but for a handheld light, that's pretty good. If you would generally want to have sort of like a thrower, generally speaking, so you can kind of point where you want to shoot it. And the form factor is really nice. It's a nice bar style form factor. As a USB-C charging port here, so we can charge it via USB-C, and you can also pretty much use this in the rain as it is water resistant. So a nice little device to have, and it comes with a lanyard attachment point and the lanyard itself, so you don't lose it in your pocket. Next up is not necessarily an EDC item, but this is more of a specialized item. They sent this out for review as well. This is the Sofirn Sd08. Basically, it has a different kind of UI because it's made for diving. It has a RGB light here, so they can locate you in the water, I suppose. And if you turn it to the right here, you have low, medium, and high, and this thing outputs a lot of energy. It's got a orange peel reflector here in the center, and the LED is the SST70 inside, and it's got a glass coating inside as well. So this generates a lot of heat. It runs off a 21700 battery, which has a USB-C charging port in the battery, so you can take the battery out and charge it up if you want to, and slap another battery in there while you're charging the other one. So it can come in handy. I'm not a diver, so I can't test it out in diving conditions, but it seems like it works pretty decently as a regular light, as long as you don't run it on high mode for too long. The heat dissipation and the heat buildup will limit your use abilities with this light. Okay, I'm going to take this off the table so you can make room for the main review item here. This is the Maxpedition Keystone pack, which was sent out for review. I've been using this for about a month now, putting it through some paces, and it has worked pretty good in terms of a everyday carry item for me in the summer and warmer months. For my setup, I typically don't wear any belt items. I just wear loose style clothing like shorts and t-shirt, nothing that would include a belt on me. So this acts as a carrying system for me on my person. And I added a radio pouch on the outside here. This is not part of the main pack, but I do ham radio operations, and I have my radio here. So we'll go with a bag, and when I got on it, this is my Yaesu FT1DR. Dual band ham radio, does APRS and also C4 FM. We're not going to talk too much more about it, but it's got wideband reception, so I can use it to listen to radio and other analog systems out there. And this is the bag itself, the back side, the really strong retention buckle system, the UTX buckle. And we got the bottom side here as well. And we'll go back to the front here and the front and the bottom here. As you can see, we have Velcro fields here, so you can attach different pouches on it if you wanted to. I usually don't do that. On the sides here, you can see I've attached on the mounting point here with the belt, and over here is the same point here, which I can mount other things onto it. I've mounted a water bottle there before, where it's come in handy for when I'm hiking. We can go over what's inside of it now and show you the zippers that are pretty well done on this one. What's kind of unique about this Maxpedition product is that it has inverted zippers. Most Maxpedition items that I have do not have this, so it's nice to see that they're inverting their zippers to keep dirt and water grime out. So it has a couple of different pockets in here. We'll go over them right now. Inside we have a small outer pocket, which I just keep my keys in. Pretty straightforward stuff, nothing complicated, and you can put a bunch of other items in there that are thin, and it fits nice in there for quick access. And you got two basically zipper pulls to kind of like secure where you want it to be zippered up at. The next one is a third pocket right here, which has two zippers on it. Again, YKK zippers. And this has my big wallet. Those of you who've seen the channel before have probably seen this wallet. I keep it in here. It's got all my EDC tools in there, multi-tools, whatever, lights, everything like that in there. So it works fairly well. Now inside this pocket we have an extra pocket here, an island pocket, which you can kind of further divide your items into, so you can keep other items stashed in there. I don't have it in there right now, but I generally use this as a sort of pocket for the wallet, and it's very easy access. I probably could put a Ride and Rain notepad in there if I wanted to, but I digress. So that's the second pocket of the bag, and again, it's fairly good at being used in a straight manner. Now I'm still working out sort of the exact fittings in here, but it fits pretty well, and I can get to my wallet pretty quickly. Now the main pocket here is also an inverted zipper here. It's got two zippers on it as well, and we'll open it up so you can see. I keep my phone in here because it's easy to access, and it fits in there perfectly. So we can take the phone out, We do have another nylon pocket against the back here with Velcro field or hook and loop, whatever you want to call it. You can attach stuff to that field there in the nylon pocket, and it'll be nice and safe in there. We've got the main pocket here, and then on this side we have two mesh pockets on either side, which are very big. In here I just keep my SenseCap T1000 pair in here. I have one for mesh core and one for mesh tastic in here, so I can still use my radio stuff on my phone and the app to talk to people in case I need to. And that's pretty much it in here for this main part, so it's pretty straightforward. Now there's one final pocket left on the Keystone here, and that is the rear pocket, which also has hook and loop field and a pretty much area where you can put either more items in the back where you want to keep hidden. And it does have a little bit of padding on this end towards me on the outside here. Not much, but it has enough to make it feel comfortable and not bulky, I've noticed. So whenever I wear this, it kind of conforms to my body, but it doesn't like putting too much pressure on it. So that's pretty nice that they have that in the back here. And this has two zippers again that is also inverted, and it's also hidden with these sewn flaps, which is kind of nice. So you wouldn't notice a zipper line there except for the two paracord pulls hanging out. Now the buckle material is excellent, kind of reminds me of car webbing basically, and it's very strong. We have these retainers here, the folded in strap, and the sides here, so everything works very well on Maxpedition gear. I've been using Maxpedition gear for many years now, and they always have some of the best quality stuff on the market in my opinion. But that is the Keystone pouch there, and what I'm using for a daily carrying system for my EDC system in the summer. So those are the gadgets and gear for now. I want to thank you guys for watching, and enjoy your day.